it's QueenOvin'ée, and we're going to be talking about motivation today. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on your notification bell to see more content. So lately, I've been going through a form of what people will call nihilism, and my version is a little bit different than the dictionary textbook version because I do not reject all moral principles. I am not a religious person, but I am very spiritual, so I have a lot of spiritual beliefs, and I do have moral viewpoints and perspectives on like things you should and shouldn't do when it comes to being a great person and having great character. But I have been going through like some form of thinking that life is meaningless to a fault because there's so much evilness and satanic things going on that I almost feel like it's inevitable to be a wholeheartedly good person when it comes to trying to go about your life. And I wouldn't even call this a phase, but a lot of my perspectives on life has changed. And deep down, when I look back on my adolescence and when I was in like middle school and high school, I had a lot of these similar thoughts, but I just never relished in being able to speak them or say them out loud. But a lot of the things that I talk about as an adult, I felt these things when I was a child and when I was young. And it's not like I'm intentionally trying to rebel against society's norms or be a menace, but it's the fact that we just do things as people in this society without understanding the meaning behind it, without trying to even ask ourselves, why do we do the things that we do? Mind you, our minds are on autopilot. Our brains are on autopilot. So we're just getting up in the morning, going to work, going to school, and we're doing the same thing every day with no thought about that. That is insanity. Insanity is literally doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So as a society, on a broader perspective, thinking about your religion, the food that you eat, exercising, and having some kind of form of productivity, all of that stuff plays a role in us decisions that we make as people. And then when you have kids and your kids have kids and you look at the whole spectrum, that's the whole point of me asking myself, what is the purpose in life? Well, so we just here to just fucking be here and then die? It got to be something much more profound than that. And that's the whole point of why I'm having this conversation and why I like to read and try to get into the, I know this sounds kind of weird, but this is like the stuff that I think about on a daily basis. But it can become draining for me because I am still human and I have a lot of emotions. So sometimes like my mind goes into these combustions where I literally get depressed thinking about all these things. And like I said previously, even going throughout my adolescence as a kid, the thoughts that I have now, I had then, but I wasn't able to logically put it into like words that I can now. But I've always questioned things and asked myself what the meaning of life was. Even at age 8, 9 years old, being in church and talking to older people, 50, 60 years old, talking to my grandparents and my aunts and uncles, I would always question things that we did in our decision making. And I've always felt like there was much more to the story than we're being told. So now that I'm an adult and I can make decisions for myself, I've chose not to conform to the things that I've been told by the law, the things that we learn in school, the things that our parents have told us, because a lot of these things, if you just pay attention, people are only giving you their perspective of life. But we're individuals and we have our own lives to choose. We have our own decisions to make. So if you make decisions in your life based on everybody else's perspective and everybody else's outlook, how the fuck can you truly live anyway? That's not living if you only can see things from the lenses of other people. You will never be able to truly be happy and become your greatest self if you look at life based on someone else's journey. Your journey is your journey. Your life is your life. Everybody has their own book. Someone else's chapters in their book are not your chapters. You have to create your chapters for yourself. My mindset is very different than a lot of my peers. And even like I said, speaking to older people, everybody's perspective seems to be different. So I'm trying to get answers from them. But shit, a lot of them don't even have the answers for their damn self. So that's why I'm like, you have to go out in life and really search for the meaning of it for yourself as an individual. You cannot look at life through someone else's perspective because you're never going to understand it, because people go through different things. And that's initially why I said nihilism and my lack of motivation go hand in hand, because there's a lot of pointless and meaningless things that we have to do in this society in order to cope and in order to get by. And when it all boils down to the essentials of things that matter to me, I just want to be able to look back on life and say that I was happy, that I was enjoying myself, that I was doing something meaningful to me, that it mattered to me. Fuck everybody else's opinion around you, what your mama, your daddy, your sisters, your cousin, your boyfriend, your uncle, all of them think. Is this making you happy? Are you living for yourself? Are you doing something that is meaningful and that adds value to your life? Ask yourself that. 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. You got to do things to where you can sleep at night. But if you can wake up in the morning and do it again, then I hope it's something that you've made the conscious effort to think about, because everything that you do today affects you tomorrow. Growing up through adolescence, I had associates, but I didn't have too many friends. In my opinion, friendship and family are synonymous to each other. On some level, they have the same qualities. You love, you care, and respect your family. Typically, not all the time, but typically your family are people that you care about. Friends are the brothers and sisters that you just got to choose. You typically love and care about them as well. So when it comes to friendship, my definition of friendship is on a whole different level. If I consider you a friend, then you're damn near like my family. The way I treat you, I'm going to treat you as such. And the reason why I said family members and friends are synonymous to each other is because there's a very thin line between love and hate when it comes to how you're treated by your family members and your friends. Family members can be some of the worst people in your life that you'll ever encounter, or they could be some of the best people and the most positive people that you have around you. And so can friends. Friends can be the most kindest, most sweetest, most supportive people, but they also could be your worst enemy and an evil person in disguise. So you just never know. And it doesn't matter who it is. Anybody can hurt you. Anybody can harm you. Anybody can lie to you. Anybody can steal from you. Anybody can do anything to you. It doesn't matter who they are. So when it comes to family members and friends, they could be on the same level. And that's why I said I enjoy being by myself and I enjoy being alone. Because when it comes to influences and people around you, typically you're going to be around like-minded people and people who think the same way as you. So when it comes to having friends, that plays a major role in your growth. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be when it comes to you trying to get to a certain level. If you have people around you that are just like you and they think just like you do, none of you guys are going to be able to change that unless you guys have the willpower and the strength to educate yourself and rise above your circumstance. 9 times out of 10, when you look back 3 or 4 years from now, majority of the people that you surround yourself with are going to be in the same position that they was when you stopped talking to them. The reason why I enjoy being alone is because it allows me to open up my third eye. When I'm by myself, I can make conscious efforts and conscious decisions toward my aspirations and my goals for the future because I'm able to grasp in my own thought process. When you're surrounded by so many different energies at once, it's kind of hard to have creativity and have a bright idea because you're so influenced by all of the things around you. And it's not like it's necessarily a bad thing because people can be healthy for you, but they can also be unhealthy for you as well. That's why I said you have to have that balance. When it's too much of something, it can be a bad thing. When it's not enough of something, it can be a bad thing. There has to be a yin and yang. It has to be a balance at all times. But I've noticed a lot of times when it comes to having friendships, there's no balance. Everybody thinks the same. Everybody's doing the same thing. And I am somewhat antisocial, but not because I hate people, but because I hate society's way of thinking. Anything that is not normal to people call it evil. Anything that doesn't conform with the way they've been taught or the things that they think about, then they just disagree with it. And when it comes to growth and trying to find yourself, what I've learned to realize is multiple things can be true at once. I don't have to choose. Are you this? Are you that? Are you left? Are you right? Conservatives, liberals, Democrats, Republicans, even religious beliefs like Christianity, Muslims, Buddhists, atheists. Everybody is just in an uproar and no one can think about what they are because they're so focused on what everybody else is. It's just like, to me, it doesn't matter. As long as people have some kind of morale and some kind of kindness, then I don't really care about all of those different things that make people so controlled and just so overindulged into trying to figure things out. I've chose to reject all of society's cultures and traditions as well as society's norms because I've realized that in order to find myself, I have to step outside of who I've been told to be. And another thing is when it comes to us learning in school, we've been taught what to think, not how to think. That's why we can't create. If you think about the airplane, if you think about cars, if you think about TV, someone created that. Someone came up with that. Someone came up with the microwave. Someone came up with the light bulb of thinking. That's what I'm saying. Like, as humans, we're supposed to create. We're supposed to come up with things. It's a matrix, but these are the topics that drive my motivation. These are the topics that drive me to want to become greater, wiser, smarter, and have a better intellect. When I speak to people about these things, people be looking at me like I'm fucking crazy. And I just be like, maybe I should stop telling people this type of stuff. I just have my own way of thinking. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's what makes us individuals. I know somebody else out there has the same type of thought process. I know I'm not the only one, but let me know what y'all think in the comments. So please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm going to be coming up with more topics like these soon.